Hey friends, Lola here with 3 reasons that creators feel defeated. So I actually have like way more reasons than 3 reasons, but I'm only going to do 3 reasons now. I actually want to sit with my reasons a little bit longer. So that's why I'm not going to do it today. But if you join the room and you begin to pull on me and begin to shout me out in the comments and begin to say things that incite me, I may go into more reasons that creators feel defeated. So if you are a creator, definitely come in. If you're a dreamer, if you're someone with an idea, some type of idea that you have, come on in here. And I'm going to tell you a few things that can cause you to feel defeated. Now, you may not be feeling defeated now. That's okay. You'll still want to know these reasons that you could feel defeated so that when you see it happening in the future, you can ignite hope and cancel out the defeat. Okay. So that's the thing that we're going to be repeating throughout this conversation. So do me a favor, help me remember it by saying it in the comments that everything that we're doing here today is to help us ignite hope and cancel defeat. Grace and peace for the people that are in the room. Let me know if you can hear me, see me, and if I sound okay. And grace and peace, Nichelle. I hope you're doing super, super great. You can call me Lola if you want. You can call me whatever you want. It doesn't bother me, but you don't have to call me that. I move a little bit differently. I appreciate you honoring me and all of that good stuff, but I'll move a little bit differently. Yeah, Felicia, thank you, thank you, thank you. Ignite hope and cancel defeat. That's what we're doing today. Ignite hope and cancel defeat. So a lot of you all, grace and peace, Lamar Lundy Harvey. I hope that your speaking engagement went super, super great in Georgia. You were speaking on a panel with media professionals and photographers, and I hope it just went amazingly, amazingly well. Nichelle Whitaker, thank you. I super, super appreciate it. So, a lot of times you all see a particular side of me. It's the side of me that is very, very sweet, kind, endearing, very thoughtful. You see that side of me, and that is who I am. But there is also a side of me that is very, very strong. It's very direct, and I have to be cautious with that side so that I don't come off as abrasive because everyone can't take that. Let me give you all an example that I think that you'll be able to relate to. Have you ever felt really passionate about something, or you've been super knowledgeable on a subject, or you just knew what you wanted and you were able to communicate that very, very effectively? But then you had people around you that didn't know what they wanted, maybe weren't as strong as far as communicating, and they were just different. So to them, your passion came off as abrasive, or your ability to communicate came off as, oh gosh, she's controlling or he's controlling. Okay. So we have to listen. Apostle Julie Jackson Ward, pastor, says she feels me. I know y'all understand. So we have to balance things out because everybody is not ready for it. And I got another message that I want to do for people that are strong communicators and people that see and discern gifts really well and see and discern problems really well. Everybody can't take you, because if you come in and they're like, oh, well, this person said that, they may see it in one way. So you got to learn how to come in like a super stealth ninja and begin to change atmospheres that may not be so welcoming to your strengths and your gifts. Because trust me, a lot of the things that you all look at within yourselves as, oh man, I feel terrible about this, or people hate me because it's really a strength. It's a strength. It's a strength. It's a strength. It's a strength. And around the right people, they will help you see that it's a strength. Around the wrong people, they will look at you like something is wrong, and they'll make you want to hide it and make you want to retreat. But no, it's a strength. It's a gift. Something the Father told me the other week, and I typed the note in my phone. If anybody wants to see exactly what it was, I'll share it, because I'm just going to kind of do a recap because I don't remember verbatim at this point. But it was something along the effect of the things that you've said, or the things that you look at within your personality and you're like, oh man, that's so dumb. Other people are looking at, and that's causing them to remember you. So it's like unleash your personality and let it out. Some people, y'all get online, you're creators and you're getting online, you're saying things and you're like, oh man, I got to hold back. But the Father is like, no, unleash your personality. The thing that you feel like made you look stupid, or the thing that you said that you felt insecure about, it will cause people to remember you. It'll cause people to recognize who you are. And you've got to unleash your personality and let it out. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into today's message. Today's message is 3 reasons creators feel defeated. And as I said, if you don't feel defeated at this point, that's wonderful. But I'm going to keep it real with you. At some point, you are not going to feel like you are walking on sunshine, especially when you are doing something different, when you are just going into a different place. You're not going to always feel like you're walking on sunshine. So at some point, you're going to feel defeated. So what we're going to cover today is things that make us feel defeated so that we can ignite hope and cancel defeat, so that no matter where you are on your journey as a creator, whether you've been doing it a long time or whether you're just starting or whether you took a break and now you're coming back, you will be able to use this now and use it in the future to ignite hope and cancel defeat. So first of all, this is what defeat looks like. This is what defeat sounds like, and this is what it feels like. Defeat looks like no possibility. It's where you're looking at a situation, you're like, there's no hope, there's no possibility. You don't see that anything can go right for you. You don't see that anything can work to your advantage. Defeat feels like everything is always going wrong. So you're applying for scholarships for school. You're applying for stuff for your business. You're applying for jobs at work. You want to get a new job, or you're applying for jobs at other companies, or you're applying for different programs for some type of professional journey that you're on, and you're just getting denied. And you're just like, man, everything just always goes wrong for me. Everything just always goes wrong. Nothing can go right. Nothing seems to go right. I move one step forward and then I'm being pulled 15 steps back. By the way, y'all, I put on heels today to do this conversation. Let me show you what I look like without my heels on. Did you see how short I got? But the angle works better with me having heels on. So that's why I have my heels on. So yeah, I just got super short. So let me put my heels back on. So for anyone that live streams on here, let me know if you get fully dressed to live stream. It makes me feel good to get fully dressed and to put on jewelry. It makes me feel feminine, and I feel very comfortable when I'm feeling feminine, and very confident when I'm feeling feminine. So let me get back into this. Also, defeat sounds like excuses. So someone can be coming along to you and saying, hey, you didn't get that job. Hey, grace and peace, Ebony, you didn't get that job, but here's another opportunity for you. Apply for this one. And you're like, I don't really just feel like it right now. Or your friend is like, man, it sucks that, your boss didn't see that you're really strong in this area. Why don't you try this? Why don't you just move into a different department if they can't see it? Why don't you just apply for jobs there? And you're like, no, because I have, tenure in this department and I got rapport with people and I just really know this job really well. And it sounds like excuses. So that's what defeat looks like. That's what it feels like. And that's what it sounds like. It feels like no possibility exists for you. It looks like no possibility exists for you. It feels like everything is always going wrong, and it sounds like excuses. So in the future, if you see that you're beginning to do that, it means that you're in a place of defeat. Something I shared in my private group recently, if someone wants to do me a favor and you're part of that group and you are able to do this and you're not busy or you're not driving, your hands aren't tied up, then do me a favor, tag my group in the bottom, the Smoking Profit Podcast, Dreamers Ignited. But I shared a post in my group from this attorney, Javon Buckley. I hope I said his name right. I could have messed it up. I've never talked to him personally. I don't even know how I got on his Facebook page, but I enjoy what he shares. But I shared one of his posts in my group because it demonstrated the power of showing up without excuses, even in the midst of like you can, I hate that I said in the midst of, like, I do editing work and someone constantly uses that. And I hate that I said it. And I probably said it because I'm editing that daggone statement. Sorry, I just had a moment. I want to yank myself up. Okay, buy the shirt. Thank you for putting the website there. Okay, so here, let's keep going. But what he shared was he has a portion of his office that was not being used. He wasn't using it, and he can't really get people in there working on weekends. And instead of him just sitting there keeping that portion of the office unused, he got resourceful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. He got resourceful. You know what he did? He installed a freaking Ring, the little Ring bells, the Ring doorbells. He installed one of those. Ebony, it's okay. No worries. You tagged the website, and that's good. Somebody need to see that too. It's all good. I appreciate the concerted effort. Okay. Grace and peace, Gabby. I hope you're doing super, super well. Okay. So he installed this Ring doorbell system, and that's how he took his clients. So even though he couldn't hire anyone that would be consistent and be able to show up on the weekends when he needed them there, and he couldn't be in that part of his office, and the office was just sitting there collecting dust, he installed a Ring doorbell system and used that. He got his first client, and the client filled out the paperwork. They did intake, and he got paid, and that was that. And I said, wow, that's so powerful, because that is what showing up with your idea, showing up, whatever it is that you're creating, this concept that you have, looks like when you do it without excuses. When you don't say, well, I hire people and they don't come to work, or you don't say, well, I can't afford to do that, or I can't do this and I can't do that. This is proving what showing up without excuses looks like. And what it looks like is you being able to bring solutions in the form of creativity, innovation. Okay. Creativity, innovation, and resourcefulness. I had thought about some of the most interesting things I've created have not come from a place of abundance. It's come from a place of resource, meaning I didn't have everything I wanted around me. I didn't have everything that I thought that I needed, but I just used what I had. When I started my podcast, I had no microphones. Okay. I had no microphones. I had no computer. Actually, when I started my blog, I didn't even have a computer. Okay. I didn't have a computer. I did my blog on this little iPhone. That's when like our phones were so tiny. They were like this small. You see that? I did editing for my blog and uploading on there. Okay. I just started with what I had. There are things that I want now. I have a whole list of things that I want now. A whole list. I could show it to you. I just don't feel like you want to see it. If you want to see it, I will post it in the comments or something. But I have a whole list of things that I want. You understand? But guess what? I'm not in a place of defeat where defeat is causing me to amplify everything that I don't have and causing me to miss what I can pick up and just use. That's what defeat does. It amplifies every negative thing around you. It amplifies everything that is missing around you. It amplifies everything that is wrong with around you. And it stops you from seeing what you can do with what you have. Okay. It stops you from seeing that. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into the message. Now that we've talked about what defeat looks like, what it feels like, and what it sounds like. Grace and peace, Shauna Smith. Thank you for being in here. And again, we are sharing today. We're having a conversation because y'all are talking back to me, and I super appreciate it. 3 reasons creators feel defeated. And this is all so that we can ignite hope and cancel defeat. Now, I'm not saying you feel defeated now, but what I'm telling you is, as a creator, is anyone that is venturing off to do anything different than what they've done before, there will come a time where you will not feel your best. And when you begin to feel like and sound like some of that stuff that I was just talking about for the last, I don't know how many minutes, then you know that you're getting into a place of defeat. And that defeat is causing you to amplify everything that is wrong around you. It's causing you to amplify everything that you feel like you're missing, everything that you are lacking. And that stops you from seeing the possibility of where you are and what you can do. And I'm telling you, I've been able to do a lot just being resourceful, just being resourceful. I don't let people, people could tell me no at work, and that's like, okay, you said no, but I'm gonna figure out how to do it with what I have. I'm gonna figure out how to do it with what I have. At home, I'm gonna figure out how to do it what I have. With my family, I'm gonna figure out how to do what I want to do with what I have, or either I'm gonna figure out something else that I can get that's accessible to me to make it work. I'm just not taking no for an answer. You see, I'll come on here and talk live, and I can have one person in the room, zero people in the room, or more than that, and I'm still gonna talk and I'm still gonna pour out because I don't accept defeat. I don't. I don't accept defeat. Now, does that mean that I always feel great? Nope. And I'm gonna share something with you in a minute about someone actually seeing me not feel great and what that did for them and for me. So the first reason that we feel defeated is that we are doing too much at once. We are just doing too much at once. One of the easiest things that anybody can do, no matter what profession you're in, no matter what you're trying to do, is establish small, measurable goals. When you establish small, measurable goals and you achieve them, your body actually releases a chemical that makes you feel good. It makes you feel encouraged and motivated. And then you can begin to use that esteem to take on the next task. But when we start out with too many things that we're trying to do, and we just got our minds spinning like the universe, which is immeasurable, and we begin to fail and we begin to drop the pieces, we feel so defeated. We feel so discouraged. So you doing a lot is counterproductive. It's counterintuitive. It does not help you. So what you do is you start out with things that are small and things that are measurable. Now, does that mean, okay, so what I'm seeing in my head is being out swimming, okay, and there's a pool. Now, there's a kiddie pool over here, and then there is the adult size pool, and it has like the little ramp where you start out and you're walking in it and the water is coming up. When you are setting small measurable goals, it's like you're starting out in the kiddie pool, or it's like you're starting out and you're walking down the ramp and you're venturing out deeper and deeper and deeper. You cannot stay where you feel comfortable. You cannot stay there because it begins to develop a false sense of confidence in you because everything becomes so easy. So then when you begin to deal with a problem that is beyond your scope of ease and comfortability, and it's hard, guess what happens? You feel defeated. That wasn't even on my list as a reason we feel defeated. That just popped up in the moment. I hope I made sense. You feel defeated because you have put yourself in a place of comfort and ease. You're never doing anything any harder than what it's been. You're actually staying further back, okay? And that's defeating to you because it's not allowing you to develop the confidence that comes through struggle and problems. About 2 weeks ago, the father started talking to me about my family, our children and stuff. And I don't even know if y'all know, I have a real family. Like, so when I'm not showing up online, I am being a super person, mom, woman, like manager of my household and what is around me. Like, but he was talking to me about my family and our children. And he's just like, you can't stop them from making mistakes. He's like, you can't. He's like, you can't. You gotta let go and let them out there and let them make mistakes. Let them make mistakes, he said, because it's going to develop a skill and a confidence in them that you're not going to be able to teach them. So give them a little bit of rope. Just a little bit, Mom. You ain't got to give it all to them. Just a little bit. Open up the gate a little bit. Let them go out. Let them begin to utilize what you've taught them and to let their minds help them think, because that's what you've been doing. Because if you hold them back, they won't develop the skill and the confidence they need that you can't teach them. Okay? That's something, right? Okay, let's bring it back to this. So far we've gone over. First of all, let me read the comments. Okay, so Gabby said, and Gabby, if y'all are wondering, it says Carlos and Gabby Prieto. And she said, that's a bold answer. I will not take no for an answer. Yeah, I don't take no for an answer. Does that mean that people don't tell me no? No, they tell me no all the time. I tell people no. That just means that when they say no, I'm like, something else is here. And I'm going to see it, because I'm not going to allow defeat to amplify all that is wrong around me so that I cannot see where I'm supposed to be going. And I feel the Father shifting. And okay, we go with the shift. Okay, so Shauna Smith said, wow, I needed to hear this. Okay. So I have to pause for a minute because I feel the Holy Spirit and I have to listen to him. And I hate even doing stuff like this because it sounds like it can come off as weird. For anyone that's looking for an answer, for anyone that needs God's guidance, like you are at a place where you're like, I need a clear answer. Begin to meditate and repeat this as an affirmation every morning. And this is from the book of Psalm 119. Your word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Begin to speak that. Begin to speak that. Your word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. And the Father will make the direction plain for you. He will make it plain for you. Okay, so Shauna Smith, wow, I needed to hear this. Thank you, Lord. Yesterday was a hard day. Prayed hard yesterday, and here I am. God will always put me where I need to be. He will. That's one thing that we can trust. It sure is. That's why grace is, I was writing something one day, and imagine our lives are us. It's us. I said are us. Our lives, think about this for a moment. You're standing on this tall mountain and you've reached the cliff. And on the cliff, there you can see that there's something beyond where you are. You can see there's something beyond where you are. It's another place, but you can't get to it. But then there's this small rope going from one edge right where you are. Grace and peace, Shalonda. Glad to see you here, fam. Small place. It's a small rope, small slither of hope, from one edge to the next. And your job is to get on it. And you're like, first of all, I don't like heights, like at all. So I won't want to get on it. I remember being uptown Charlotte, and a building for some event one day. And it was like one of the buildings that the company had uptown. We were so high up. And even though I was in a building clearly safe, you know, the windows, you couldn't get out of it. We weren't outside or anything. I would not go near the window. I stayed like 4 or 5 feet back from that window. I did not like it. I have not liked heights since I was a kid. Don't like it at all. But you're being asked to go from one place to the next. So you're on this small rope. It's like you're walking a tightrope. You're walking a tightrope. Now you can do one of two things. You can allow fear to paralyze you so that you just stay where you are and you don't move. Or you can just walk and trust that if you slip, if you fall, if you make a mistake, grace will be like a safety net under you. Why am I talking about that? Because Shauna Smith said the Father always puts her where he wants her to be, where she needs to be. And that's what grace does. We're just supposed to try. It's God's job to do the rest. We're just supposed to try. That's it. Grace, y'all know that word, CHYL, it's Greek. It means two things. It means favor and strength, but not yours. It's God's favor and God's supernatural strength. So all you have to do, Michelle, all you have to do is just step out and try. And if you fall, grace is there to catch you and redirect you. Our problem is that we don't try. We get frozen. Or sometimes when we hear the nudging, like when I felt the Holy Spirit, I wanted to ignore it because I want to get through my message and get off of here. I wanted to ignore it, but I felt it rest. I I felt it resting. I was like, okay, I'm going to switch over here and say this real quick. And then I'm going to come back. And then now here I am. And I said a whole bunch of what I didn't want to say. But anyways, we got to listen. Okay. But grace, 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 grace to y'all. I just prayed for y'all and you didn't even know. When I said grace, I was praying for y'all. Don't think that your prayers have to be long and deep. They don't. Ecclesiastes says the more words, the less meaning. Sometimes you can pray long. It's fine. Sometimes you can't say a lot. You just say what you can. Or sometimes you don't know what to say. And you just throw something out there. Grace and peace, Brenda G. I'm super, super happy that you're here. I gotta inbox you too. Yesterday, like when I saw something on your timeline, Brenda G, it just totally disrupted me. And I was like, I gotta stay focused because I got something to do right now. But I was like, I'm gonna come in there and inbox her. By the way, I got the book you sent me. Thank you. And I saw what you wrote in there. I just don't want to read it yet. And the reason I don't want to read it, and this might be weird. So Brenda G, I got a book from her, and I ain't gonna tell them what you did. You refused me, but it's okay. I got a book from her. And she sent me the book and she wrote something very kind and sweet in there. And I don't want to read it yet because I want to be in a place where I can just sit and enjoy it. And this last year has been a roller coaster ride for me and my hub. So I'm like, I just want to sit with it and be able to enjoy it when I finally read that. So I saw it. Oh, yes. I opened that book and I saw what you wrote in there. I saw that you wrote something, let me be clear, but I didn't read it. And so I don't know what you wrote, but when I can sit and enjoy it, Lord willing, I'm going to do that. And then I'm not going to wait too long because we don't know what's going to happen, right? All right. So the first thing that we talk about that causes us to feel defeated is doing too much at once. Something else I want you to think about is like skincare. When you are buying new skincare products, you don't want to buy a bunch of things to try on your face. You don't. Because it's not necessarily that you won't know what's working. Sometimes you won't know what's not working. You won't know what's breaking you out. So if I go out and buy 3 new skincare products, brand new, that I've never tried on my skin before, and I put them on and I'm breaking out, I don't know what the problem is. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what's good. So I might just dump it and scrap everything. That's the same thing with your ideas and what you're doing. You don't want to do too much at once because doing too much at once makes it hard for you to see what doesn't work and what does work. So keep new things that you're incorporating into your process limited. Or if you do it and test it for 30 days and see what happens. Okay, before you just introduce a lot and then you're juggling a lot and the balls are dropping and you're feeling defeated because of that, or you're doing something and it's working and you can't even tell what's working because you're doing so much, or even worse, it's not working and you don't know if something that you got mixed into your plan is good because other stuff is there, a lot of other stuff. Am I making sense? Do y'all see what I'm saying? That can cause you to feel defeated. All right, so let's keep going. The second thing is you are comparing your journey to someone else's. You are comparing your journey to someone else's. Comparing our journeys make us feel insecurity. It makes us feel defeat. And comparing your journey to someone else is different than you looking at them and being inspired by what they're doing. It's different than you looking at them and saying, wow, that's working really well for them. I can possibly try it. It's different than that. It's you basing your moves and basing what you want to do off of someone else. And you can't do that because comparing makes you fit into a mold of what somebody else is, and it doesn't liberate you to be you. And there is something special and amazing in you. And I know you've heard that before, but we can't say that enough, especially in our world, where we want to copy other people and where the temptation to copy them is so high. So I have to tell you that. I have to say there is something special and there is something unique inside of you. And if you compare yourself to what someone else is doing or to another person, you comparing yourself and trying to conform to them and copying them will stop you from being who you need to be. It will stop you from being who you need to be. So that's another thing that causes us to feel defeated. Here's how you can know if you're comparing yourself to something, which can be an idea, someone, or a thing, like as in a company that's well established. So sometimes for me, I've looked at like what Apple is doing. I'm like, man, this landing page they have for this new iPhone, it is so amazing. And I look at it as inspiration. But if I'm not careful, then if I'm not careful, I will compare myself to that. And I want to begin to mimic what Apple is doing. Okay. And it'll cause me to miss out. But anyways, here's what you can, here's an indicator that you are comparing yourself to something. Your insecurity begins to go up and your confidence begins to come down. Oops, sorry about that. Your insecurity, and I got a safety pin there too. Your insecurity begins to go up and your confidence begins to go down. Why am I saying that? Because comparison makes you look at what you don't have as compared to something else. So if you're beginning to feel really, really insecure and the confidence that you had when you started off or the confidence that you had a few weeks ago is like going down, then it's probably a sign that you are comparing yourself to something, an idea, a company, or someone. Okay. And then the last thing that I want to talk about today, because I've been on here for 30 minutes, is ego. This is a good one. Remember when I said that I'm not always confident earlier in this conversation? Well, this is where I'm going to talk about what me allowing people to see when I'm not confident. Let me be more clear. This is where I'm going to talk about when I allowed someone to see me having a moment where I didn't feel so confident and what it did for them. So egos got you concealing your struggles and not sharing them. Ego, the need that we have to look like we've got it all together, stops you from sharing what you're struggling with. When the thing that you're hiding, the thing that you're struggling with, the thing that you don't want anybody to see is what someone needs to see. People need to see your process. They need to see your journey. They need to see the transformation. They need to see you go from where you are to where you want to get to be. For some people, they can't go out and find hope in people that are already doing, let me say this. They can't go out and find hope in people that look like they have reached their peak, people that have whatever they want to like the 1,000th percent. They can't find hope in that because it looks like it's too far off for them to reach. I know I'm making sense to somebody. Okay. So people need to see the things that you struggle with. They need to see the things that you're hiding. They need to see the parts of your journey that are ugly, the places that you mess up and how you're trying to work through your mistakes, realizing that your mistakes are helping you figure things out and get better. They need to see that because when you show them that, it humanizes you. It makes you look human and it makes them feel connected to you and it makes them feel like they can do it. I was recording a podcast and I let someone sit in with me recording the podcast. And I was just having a hard day. Like nothing was like, man, it was one of those defeated days. Okay. Like when I tell you nothing was going right, it was like something disturbing me like every moment. And when I finally sat down to do it, it was so late. And if y'all know me, you know that I tell you to find your rhythm. I know my rhythm for things. I know that throughout the day, I have a point of where I can come on live and talk and flow. And then I know that there's a point in the day where my mind is too tired and I don't want to do that. And also I'm thinking about my family. Like my mind is now switching over into, you got to get out of solo mode. First of all, you got to manage this house. You got to deal with what's going on in your house, And so I know that. So I have like a flow. And if y'all want to know more about that, go to my YouTube channel and find this video on YouTube. My YouTube channel is Lola Cabaya, LOLACABAYA. But the video is finding your daily rhythm. Go and look that up and you will hear about it in there. But I was just feeling terrible. Now I had to do this podcast at a point in the day where I didn't even do it. And I was like, it was not working for me. And so it reminded me of when I used to play piano. Sometimes when I would play piano and have to read the notes, if I would get a note wrong and I'd hear it, I'd bang the keys. I was like, oh, I banged the piano keys and I'd be like, stop banging them keys when you tear up that piano. That get fixed, blah, 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 blah. Okay, this is me letting my personality out. Grace and peace. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Is it Tanaya Francois? I can't say all of the words unless I hear them, but I was doing the podcast and I was messing up and I was like, man, I am sucking at this. Like, why am I even trying? I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this today. And this person was watching me go through that. They were watching me go through that. And I was like, I don't feel good. I said, I don't even feel confident. Like, and then all of a sudden, because I was feeling like that, I'm like, am I even making sense? And I'm sitting there doing all of this, right? And then I just stop and I just start over a couple of times. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to do it. And if I mess up, I'm not going to start over. This is a little trick when you're recording a podcast or a video. But this definitely for a podcast. When you're recording a podcast and you make a mistake, pause for like 5-10 seconds, pause and just start from where you messed up at. The reason you're pausing is so that when you're editing that content, you can see very clearly the sound waves. They'll be like this and sometimes spiky. You'll see sound waves very clearly, but when you stop talking, it'll flatline. So that'll help you find the spots that you need to edit pretty quickly. But I did that and I was like, we're going to get through it. And when I finished that, this person was like, thank you for letting me see. And they said, I always thought that you just had it together and that you just flowed. And they were like, you letting me see that made me feel like I can do it. And I was like, wow. So when I'm telling you all, grace and peace, Apostle Sonia, what up though? My baby likes saying that to you. But what I'm telling you is ego will cause you to will cause you to conceal your struggles and not share them when your struggles are the very thing that will connect you to your core audience. It will connect you to them. It will humanize you. It will bring you off of this pedestal and allow people to see themselves in you so that they can begin to believe what you're saying and feel like they can do something that they thought they couldn't do before. Facebook user, kingdom blessings to you. Doesn't let me see your name. I'll see it after the broadcast. I hope that made sense, y'all. So what we just went over is what defeat looks like, what it feels like, what it sounds like. Defeat looks like no possibility. It feels like everything is always going wrong, and it sounds like excuses. When you get to that point, defeat is causing everything that is wrong, everything that you're missing, everything that you're lacking to be amplified around you. And when that happens, your mind is not in a place to see what you can do with what you have. Okay. And a few things that cause us to feel defeated. I'm doing my wrap up and recap. If anybody wants to say anything, let me know. A few things that cause us to feel defeated is doing too much at once. Doing too much at once can cause you to feel defeated because you're trying to juggle all these balls. And when they begin to fall and when you begin to drop them, you automatically get discouraged. But if you would set smaller, measurable goals, more measurable goals, like something you say you want to, you create like your work, you create like a 90-day plan. You add one thing to that 90-day plan. And then when you juggle that one thing really well, you add something else. When you do that, what happens every time you accomplish a goal, every time you set out to do something and you do it, what happens is your body releases chemicals that make you feel good, makes your brain feel good, motivated, happy, and encouraged. And you begin to use that esteem to take on the bigger stuff. And when you're setting up these small, measurable goals, you can't just stay there forever. Because if you stay there forever doing a few things and you never juggle any bigger tasks, you develop a false confidence. And that confidence does not help you when you need it. Okay, because you're always doing something easy. So eventually you start with the small measurable goals, but eventually you got to work yourself up to something more. But you'll be okay to do that because you will be working in tandem with your body and your brain in that process. I just said getting all those feel good chemicals and stuff, and you'll be able to work it. Also, when you're doing too much at one time, it's hard for you to sorry, I almost bit my tongue. When you're doing too much at one time, it's hard for you to see what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. So if something is working, you can't really isolate what's working that easy, right? Or if something is not working, you might throw out the stuff that would work minus the thing that is not working. So this is another reason why you don't want to do too much at once. Do too much at once. The second thing is you're comparing your journey to someone else's, okay? And we said that when we begin to compare our journeys to other people, what happens in us is our insecurities begin to get higher because we're looking at what we're doing next to another idea, another person, a business that has bukus of money. We're putting ourselves up next to them, and now we're beginning to feel like grasshoppers. We're beginning to feel inferior. We're beginning to feel insecure. So that's how you know you're comparing yourself. Insecurity begins to go up, confidence begins to come down. You look to others for inspiration. You look to others for inspiration, but don't you copy them to the point of you losing yourself. Okay? And when I say copy them, let me be clear because somebody might take that and run with it. When I say copy them, I'm not referring to straight up plagiarism copying, where somebody took my words on here, transcribed it, and when it said it on their podcast, that's definitely copying. But if they saw something that I said here today and it triggered some original thought in them, and then they quoted something that I said and then added their original thought, that's okay. That's what I mean when I use that reference there. And I won't say it again because it'll cause too much confusion. But you can be inspired by others, but do not get to the point of where you're comparing yourself to them and you're taking on who they are and not releasing who you are. Okay, that's what I wanted to say. And then the last thing is your ego, your need to have it all together all the time, or at least to appear that way, is causing you to conceal your struggles, conceal the hard times, conceal the ugly parts of your journey. And the truth is, people need to see that. There are some people that are so far off in their journeys that them coming on and talking to maybe the group of people you're called to reach is not going to work because the group you're called to reach is not going to relate to them. They're not going to see that they can get to that point from where they are. But when you begin to release, when you begin to share your struggles with discretion, when you begin to share some of the hard moments with discretion, what happens is it humanizes you. It lets people, your core audience, your core community, it lets them connect with you. And when they connect with you, they can see that they can have what you have because they begin to see that you all are related. They begin to see themselves in you. Okay. Rosalind Brooks Tucker, excuse me. Rosalind Brooks Tucker said, great analogy. Awesome. Shauna Smith said, great word. Thank you. I really needed this. Yes, my mouth is dry. I really need some water. Okay. And I'm done. That's it for today. I do have a fuller list. I think I got about 7 or 8 things. Nope, I got about 9 things on the list, along with some things that you can do to help you. But I've given you some things that you can do to help you today. I've given you a lot to help you, ignite hope and cancel defeat. So please use it, be encouraged. And yeah, the journey is worth it. Let me just say that the journey is super, super worth it when you begin to see people like believing in themselves and people like changing and shifting. It's worth it. It's like watching your child walk for the first time, or watching your kid do some other thing that you never imagined they'd be able to do, but because you've been nurturing them, they can all of a sudden do this thing that they felt like was impossible. So it's a really amazing feeling. And don't you let go of what you're supposed to be creating. Stay in the game and do it. I'm Lola with The Smoking Prophet. The Smoking Prophet is a life advice brand designed to resource you spiritually, creatively, and socially. Our goal is to give you what it takes others years to get. We do that through a blog podcast. The blog is thesmokingprophet.com. Our friend Ebony put it in the comments earlier. We also have a podcast. The Smoking Prophet podcast has over 100 episodes available, and it's out there wherever you listen to podcasts. So please go find it and follow us or subscribe to us so that you can get notifications on the podcast as soon as they come out. Also, I have a group. If you're looking for a community to help ignite your dreams, to help cultivate your creativity, to help push you in the direction of your dreams and your destiny, and to help show you how to move beyond what you have, and just use what you got to get yourself going, then please consider joining the group. Lamar Lundy Harvey actually dropped it in the chat earlier, but I'm going to call it out now. It's the Smoking Prophet Podcast, Dreamers Ignited. It's here on Facebook. So go and find it, the Smoking Prophet Podcast, Dreamers Ignited. And I will be dropping my telephone number in there soon. I have to update something with my company that I use to do text messaging, where people can text me and I can text them back. I have to update something. And I haven't done that yet because I just saw it today. But at any rate, I'll be dropping my number in there soon so that y'all can actually reach out to me. Lamar Lundy Harvey, thank you for putting that in there. I super enjoyed giving y'all this message. I'm Lola with The Smoking Prophet. Until next time, have the most amazing life. Bye!